With heavy hearts, we announce the death of our beloved Bibiana Morgan, affectionately known as Mrs. Morgan or Bibi of Kako V4. She passed away at the Tapia Hospital on Sunday, April 23rd, 2023 at 9:15 a.m. She was 69 years old. Left to mourn, her husband of 47 years, Dr. Peter Morgan, pastor of the V4 Community Baptist Church. Her children, Ethan Morgan, residing in Europe, Jason Morgan and Miranda Davis, both residing in North Carolina. Her grandchildren, Bailey Rodriguez in Chicago, Naomi Morgan, Lucas Morgan, Aidan Davis and Cora Davis in North Carolina. Her brothers, Clarendon Bertram, also known as Rennick, in Orlando, Florida, Calix Edwin in the U.S., Nigel Edwin in Boston, USA, Augustine Edwin in the U.S., Timothy Regis and family of Dennery, Donna and Hester and Merrill and family in London, Julian Bissett and family of Gara Babino, Dennery, America and Greece, Francis Stanio and family residing in London. Her sisters, Margaret Gilbert, also known as Cynthia, Veronica Fontenelle, both residing in Boston, Dr. Juliana Wilson, residing in Maryland, USA, Julie Clark of Cicerone, Colette Burin of Dennery, Linda Petrona Nicholas Bissett and family in London and Dennery. Her son-in-law, Jimmy Davis in North Carolina, her daughter-in-law, Julia Morgan in North Carolina. Her in-laws, Pastor Daniel Morgan and wife Jewel, Reuben Morgan and wife Lilia Glory, both residing at Goodlands, Julian Morgan and wife Yvette Morgan of Cicero and America, Protas Morgan and wife Michelle, residing in Brooklyn, New York, Joseph Eugene of Cicero, Mrs. Agatha Wilson of Monopole, Lucille Morgan in Brooklyn, New York, Marie O'Neill in Canada. Her nieces-in-law, Leona Catherine Powell, residing in New York, Dr. Alicia Eugene Ford of Emerald Development, Corinth, Ginny Morgan Raphael, Public Health Nursing Supervisor of Carolee, Wendy Emmanuel of Canada, Lisa Morgan of Brooklyn, New York, Hannah Morgan of New York, Louise Morgan Hall of New York, Samantha Glasgow, Leah Morgan Crocker, both residing in New York, Anna Green in England, Eunice Wilson in New York, Meredith Morgan of Parvey, Janice Papin of Cicero, Wendy Mayers in the U.S., Judy Morgan, Stacia Morgan of England, Beverly Pierre of Marigot, Stacey Morgan of Monopole, Gina Morgan of Cicero, Christy Watson, Tara Morgan Paul, Charlene Plummer, all residing in Canada, Corinne Morgan of Cicero, Sheena Mondesi, Crystal Mondesi, Natasha O'Neill, all residing in Canada. Her nieces, Rufina Gilbert, Janet Gilbert, Nadia Gilbert, Claudia Gilbert, Claretta Tutulia, Vernita Tutulia, Zena Tutulia King, Alice Clark, Phyllis Clark, Eunice Clark, Polivette Burin, Shanda Burin, Cleo Burin, Tanika Edwin, Ruth Bash and family of Dennery and London, Maggie Fauché and family of Dennery and London, Rosie Audibert and family in Canada, St. Lucia and London, Anselma Doris Edward and family of Gara Denry, Diana Joseph and family of Lacroix, Babonneau. Children of her deceased sister, Antonia Gilbert, also known as Rugen. Her nephews, Patrick Eugene of Ciceron, Thomas Eugene, Elijah Eugene, both residing in the U.S., Wayne Eugene in Maryland, USA, Jonathan Eugene of St. Lucia, Gaius Wilson in Orlando, Florida, Silas Wilson of Montreal, Titus Wilson in Canada, Douglas Morgan of Ciceron, Kim Morgan and family of Canada, Malcolm Morgan of Brooklyn, Glenn Morgan of Ciceron, Tyler Morgan of Brooklyn, Theo Morgan of Brooklyn, Curtis James of Ciceron, Randolph Morgan in Florida, Tony Morgan, Alex Morgan, both of Pave, Curtis Morgan of Granivier, Hubert Morgan of Pave, Clayton Morgan of the Morn, Daniel Morgan, Siobhan Morgan, both of Ciceron, Peter Morgan of the Morn and his wife Nicole, Brad Morgan, Levi Morgan, both of Ciceron, Winston Mondesi, Nathan O'Neill, both residing in Canada, Curtis Gilbert, Johnson Gilbert, Alban Gilbert, Julian Tutulia, Peter Tutulia, all residing in the U.S., Jim Clark, residing in England, J.B. Wilson, Kevon, Cedric, N.J. Edwin, all residing in the U.S., Timothy Bowman and family in London, Babas of Opicon Vieux-Fort, the Vieux-Fort Community Baptist Church family, and close friends, members of the Baptist family in St. Lucia. Other friends, Barbara Sukwa Singh, Lydia Gaston, Michaelina Nelson, Irene Blanchard, and Aunt Charles. Her special caretakers, Noel and Penny Antoine, Colette Burin, also left to mourn the Flood family, the Lazarus family, the Francis family, the Charlie family, the Ange family, the O'Brien family, the Polion family, the Edwin family, the Gilbert family, the Burin family, the Morgan family, the Williams family, the Sukwa family, the Mayers family, the Lesmore family, the Dash family. The funeral service for our beloved Bibiana Morgan, affectionately known as Mrs. Morgan or Bibi of Kako, Vieux-Fort, will be held at the Vieux-Fort Community Baptist Church, Theodore Street, on Saturday, May 6, 2023, at 10 a.m. Thereafter, her body will be cremated. Her body now lies at Rambally's funeral parlor.